Hey, welcome back to another episode of Dad Bods and Touchdowns. I'm joined here with my co-host Jake and Eric, and we're here to talk about some football, some UFC fighting, some free agents signings, and a lot of exciting shit going on this past week. And I guess I'll jump right on it. First things first, some Bears talk. We'd like to get to that first. We got the Bears announced that they're going to be doing joint practice with Cincinnati Bengals. What's your guys' thoughts on that?
I think that's exciting, personally, just because for Caleb to go see a top, I mean, once he's not hurt, the top five quarterback, I think personally,
Right,
and
absolutely.
and then also get to play against another defense, which should be nice, and the defense can see how they can do a good quarterback other than our own.
Right.
What about you, Jake?
I mean, I was right there with you. I mean, just having Caleb Williams go out there against some more, defensive players, besides our own, would be nice to see how he does and reacts to, different situations that could be put into besides, against our defense. So it'll be nice to see. I'm happy to see that they're doing that, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I have to be honest with you. I'm excited about it for a couple different reasons. Uh, One you guys mentioned, our defense gets to see. To me, I agree, probably one of the top five quarterbacks in the league. They get to go up against them, see how they match up, because there's a lot of hope and a lot of words out there being said about that defense right now being a top five defense, so on and so forth. Which maybe that back seven, I could probably pretty close to agree with that. But they'll definitely get a solid matchup with that receiver core and that quarterback for sure. I also agree that I think it'd be nice for them to see for Caleb Williams to see a different NFL defense besides the one that's been ball hawking him
Yeah.
during OTAs and minicamp and stuff. So I'd agree with you on that one. So speaking of, you got spring training tickets be available July 9th on Ticketmaster. So I know us are talking about maybe picking a day and going. I think that'd be fun, exciting. Give us a little more input that we can, getting to see it with our eyes and come back and get back on here and talk about it a little bit. I think that'd be exciting.
Oh yeah. I mean, let's hope Poopy can actually make it.
Poopy.
All
Oh
right,
no!
Dumbo.
Now we got
All right,
now we got
Dumbo. Now
nicknames.
we're
Oh
starting
shit!
something. I like it.
uh, what do you guys got for Bears talk? You guys got some stuff going on?
Let's see. I have a couple things. I was watching the press conference and stuff, listening to Flus and everybody talk.
Yeah.
I really liked how Flus was talking, man. He sounds more confident, like he wants to speak it into existence. He was talking about how the players can talk, but they have to back it up, and I like that.
Right.
Nothing's worse than talking a lot of stuff and not backing it up. He's trying to speak it into existence, and one of the things he was talking about how he's very impressed by Roma Dunze. He's looking good as far as his route tree and just his overall work ethic. He seems like a good guy. And then also Caleb Williams. A lot of people are talking about how he has a very good arm. Like he was cutting through the Chicago air like nothing. He was making it look effortless. He's getting better in as far as, his like as far as his drop back and like just getting into rhythm with all the receivers, which is really nice.
Right.
And then it's kind of funny. They were T.J. Edwards was on, and he was talking about how he for the first practice he moved the defense with his eyes, and they were pissed about that. They're like, "How are we going to let a rookie do that to us?"
That's good shit there, though.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's great. And then also Flus was talking about how he really wants to do the one-on-ones, like first deep versus first offense, because that's the only way Caleb's going to see what it is to face a good defense. And I'm
Right.
not saying that the Bears are top five defense, but I think they're trying to speak it into existence. Is also trying to build from what they had last year.
Right.
Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, but I mean, I'm really excited. I hope this really makes us better overall.
So speaking of that top five defense, and this is where I come into question, and I'm sure I'm not alone here. I wouldn't think with you guys got to be agreeing. I mean, I'm looking at the depth chart, and you got Demarcus Walker, right? You got Billings, you got Dexter, and you got Montez Sweat. I mean, that's your front four. I,
Yeah,
it's that to me. Montez Sweat is proven, obviously.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? Um, but as far as like the other three guys, it's kind of a prove it year from my understanding with Billings anyway. Um, that's not really what you want to go with that front four. So that's where I struggle with the top five defense, maybe top 15, because that front four is going to have to be solid in order to make a top five defense to me. Um, there's a couple guys out there that kind of did a little bit of researching, and I just want your guys' input. And I mean, do you think? I know we talked about Ngakwe a little bit, bringing him back, but they're not too sure on his injury still, right? I remember
Yeah,
yeah,
reading
yeah, he's in
about
the
that.
injury. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, you got what Ogaba that played with Miami last year. He's a free agent, and then you got Lawson who played with the Jets last year, also as far as edge rusher. When you get to Lawson, that's a little bit of a fall off. When I was looking at the stats compared to where Ngakwe was or Ogaba, I mean Ogaba has played 107 games. He's got 42 and a half sacks, which aren't bad numbers.
no,
He had what 5.5 last year with Miami, and then you got Ngakwe, obviously 224 games. He's got 69 sacks. Shortened season last year because of his injury. And Lawson, I mean, like I said, it's a big fall off. You're talking about 119 games, so he's played less than Ogaba, and he's only got 27 sacks.
right.
So, I mean, even when I got into the available defensive tackles, I do like the thought of the Bears trying to bring in Calais Campbell. I think that he was solid with Atlanta last year.
yeah,
I think he'd be
yeah,
good to have in there, and I think it'd take some of that pressure off Sweat. So, and the Bears have money to spend. So if they went and got somebody like Calais Campbell and Ngakwe, I mean, that would sure up that would put you, I think, in a top five category. What's your
Oh
guys'
yeah.
thought?
I mean, I'm right there with you. I mean, just let alone. I mean, as right now, the biggest thing everyone has to worry about is Sweat. Now you put someone
Right,
else on that, Calais Campbell, whoever on that line. I mean, it adds a little bit of pressure to that lineman, or the lineman, or that whole offense, I should say. It's going to free up
right.
Sweat. It's going to free up whoever to do what they got to do. So I mean, if that's a move they do make, I agree with that. I mean, it without a
Yeah.
doubt, I think would be a top five.
I mean, you guys agree that we need to add somebody there. I mean,
Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
mean,
oh yeah,
I see them trying to wait maybe and see if somebody comes up during trade. Like by the trade deadline,
yeah.
but it
You
just
don't want to be too
depends.
late though.
yeah,
No, I agree with you, and I mean, I just Poles is so meticulous with his moves that I
Yeah,
see him doing something. I just don't know when he's going to pull the trigger on it. And I know he has something planned. He's just trying to see where the puzzle's going to fit, I think, personally.
yeah, and I trust in Poles. I mean, obviously, I mean, the guy's done really well since he's been in Chicago. Obviously, a lot of people questioned him right off the bat when he tore down the team, but his moves, with the exception of Claypool, to me have been really solid, really good. So, yeah, I mean, you're right. Poles is definitely probably on it. And I'm sure he's got a game plan of what he wants to do, and considering whatever situation they're in.
I agree. I'm excited to see what happens with that. That should be cool. I mean, I could see them trade with Washington. I've heard a lot about that. We've talked about that. And
Yeah,
then I'm sure somebody else will fall and they'll be like, well, I guess we're going to have to rebuild here. So there'll be
right,
somebody.
right.
yeah.
What do you guys think about Nate Davis not
Ooh, I was going
not
to talk about
participating?
yeah.
Were
That's
you?
a that's one of those things. Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw them put Bates at guard, and then they have a couple other guys rotating there.
yeah,
Uh, they said he showed up, but he's not 100%. I mean, he's a veteran. I'm hoping he can just get to that point where he is physically and emotionally ready, mentally ready. Um, but
That's what I question is
I'm
the mental
just
portion at this point in time.
exactly. But there were rumors that when he was in the Titans, he didn't like to practice. So I don't know if that's just his overall character, and he just doesn't want to practice and just wants to play. Um, but talking about guards, what do you think about Jenkins? Like they're trying to make it sound like he's upset about not getting a contract, which I don't think that's the thing. I think he wants to know, he wants to tell people that he wants to be on the Bears, and he just has to prove it. He has to
Yeah,
prove it.
when I read about him going about his management going to the Bears about wanting an extension, I
Yeah,
mean, I think Jenkins, if he can stay healthy, is solid for us.
I'm sure. I'm
He
sure
does
they'll do
really
something.
well,
Yeah,
but I don't blame Poles or Warren or any of them about being skeptical with signing him because of his injury.
I
He
agree.
he is injury prone, and he has
Yeah,
been since he's if I can talk, entered the league.
Yeah,
Um, so I can't.
it's tough to
I
sign a
guess I
guy like
can't blame
that.
him.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. You are right. So
And
Another little thing about injuries and stuff. A couple, they saw it. Cole was wearing a sleeve and didn't practice, and they're saying that it's not anything grave or critical. And then there's a few other guys that were sitting out. I think they're just playing it safe right now, since it's just you know,
yeah, OTAs and
yeah.
mini
yeah,
cap. Yeah, I agree. I agree. But the Nate Davis thing just. I
I,
mean, he
I
missed 6 games. Missed 6 games last year, and I mean, I feel bad. His mom passed away, so I get missing those games. I get trying to get yourself back together mentally. But here we are entering, and we all have a job to do, just like he does. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So and we need him. We need him on that line,
yeah, we
and
do. And then
he's a big piece.
another thing that the people were really criticizing was Caleb on his cadence, and he
Yeah,
talked about it as well. And I don't like it's been 4 years since he's had to do cadence. He had, the in college they do the slap count, and he hasn't had to be vocal like that, which I think it's for him how he acts and how I've seen him be. I think he's gonna have it done by the time we get open.
yeah.
It's just I'm tired of reading all this stuff, negative things. It's so
You're going to
frustrating.
though. I
Yeah, I
mean
know.
yeah,
that's part of the deal. Because there's a lot of people that didn't want him drafted too. Just as much as and hey, I'll be first one to say it. You know that. I mean, I was a Fields guy, still am. I hope the best for him. But so where I tried to find the silver lining, and hopefully he's successful. As far as with Williams, there's still a lot of people out there looking to say, "Hey, I was right. You should have never selected him."
I
yeah,
saw this thing where they were saying that Caleb is a guy you win because of, and Fields is a guy you win with,
With
not
yeah,
because. Exactly. So I really hope that comes to
that's
fruition.
what Ryan Poles said, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, exactly. I don't know if it was legit or not, but
Right.
I just hope you know. I'm trying not to get on the hype, but I'm probably going to get on the hype here soon. I'm not going
no,
to
you're
Yeah, it's hard
110% going to
not
get
to.
on that hype.
I
Yeah,
mean, hey,
like I said, I'm just surprised you haven't bought that jersey yet.
I'm not. I told you I have a. Every time I buy a jersey of a player, it never works out. So I'm not going to do that.
Well,
Nope.
hey, Jake, we'll go together and buy him a Jordan Love jersey. Oh
No,
no!
no other team jerseys worn in my house. That's against the
Yeah,
law. We don't do that here.
you got a fireplace?
Yeah,
There
exactly.
you
That's
go.
what it would go. It would go out there in the fire pit for sure.
Even though
Yeah,
we spent money on that, you just throw away our hard-earned money.
I mean,
I wouldn't
I've
blame
told.
you.
I just can't. I
All I
can't.
gotta say is those dad shoes might go in the fireplace too.
Oh
No,
man.
if I go to no, but one thing I kind of wanted to touch bases on too is, I mean, I know Keenan Allen. I seen an interview or an article about him being open to an extension with the Bears. Now, my question to you guys is: do you guys see that happening with the receiving corps we have with DJ Moore and Dunze and everyone, or what are you guys thinking?
I think if he's affordable, that you'd be dumb not to sign him or re-sign him to an
Yeah.
extension. I don't know how long. I maybe a year or two. As much as I think he can still play, just like anything else, age starts to get you, and with age comes injuries. And I'm a 50-year-old man, can tell you that's a fact. But and I don't play in the damn NFL. But
Yeah.
no, I think it'd be good to sign him maybe to another year or two extension.
Yeah,
But
I
I think it
agree.
depends on affordability.
I think it's the same thing kind of with the Jenkins thing. They're going to see how he fits and how he helps or doesn't help, kind of
Yeah,
deal. It'll
Yeah.
probably be later in the year when they start doing that kind of stuff. But if he works out, I think if he plays 13, 12 games, I think it's worth it, honestly,
yeah,
personally.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'd agree.
So now,
Um,
with that going alongside too, I mean, if he comes, what if he's like the Bears number one, right, this year? Now, if he wants that top money, I mean, do you pay a guy like that top money, or or no? Because I mean, considering, like, I know we'll get into it probably later, but JJ just got his deal. I mean,
yeah, I I don't know if you pay
Hmm.
somebody who's in their mid 30s top dollar. I mean
No,
yeah,
they'll do
that's
DJ
tough to
before
do.
anybody,
yeah,
I think.
Yeah, yeah, I
yeah,
agree completely and totally. Um, I mean, I think he's a great asset to us, and I'm excited to see him play. But I mean, mid 30 wide receivers don't get the big money usually.
yeah, yeah.
So,
So,
um, August 1st, Hall of Fame game. So, um, I I know they're not going to play anybody, but I'll be excited to see August 1st here and to at least watch a little bit of football on that aspect. It'll be fun to watch, even if it is guys playing their ass off, trying to make a team, trying to make an impact one way or another. It'll be fun to watch.
You don't think they'd do like a series, maybe, just to see what he does? Or
Um,
you think, because we have technically now 4 preseason games, right? So maybe they'll play him now and then they'll play him the fourth game, maybe. I
yeah,
don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know. I think that with that game, from my understanding, that field's not very good. So I could see him throwing Tyson Bagent out there.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know if
yeah.
they throw Caleb Williams out there. I really don't.
No, I mean,
I will
I
tell you
wouldn't
this:
take a chance of him getting hurt.
I seen uh, some film with Tyson Bagent. That dude's gotten swole over the off
Oh yeah,
season.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
man,
his dad's a professional arm
arm
wrestler,
wrestler.
so
Yeah, I think
yeah,
he's
so
been
I'm
working out with
sure
his
he
dad.
has the right, I guess, what's it called, um, grouping or help around him to make him, you know.
Right, right, absolutely. All right, you guys got anything else about the Bears?
no,
No,
that's
I
all I
think we
got for the
covered pretty
Bears.
much everything, Yeah.
All right, I'm going to bring up something interesting. I, at first, I thought it was a joke. I'll be honest with you. When I first started reading about it, and then realized when I started doing some research that it was 100% true. Um, with Josh Jacobs coming out this
Oh yeah.
past week and talking about that Packers Eagles game in Brazil, and they're they can't wear any green whatsoever because of some gangs that are over there. They have to stay in their hotel room. They're not allowed to leave. I mean, they have to stay in the hotel. And when they travel from the hotel to the game or to their practice, it's in armored vehicles.
Really?
Yeah, I understand getting the NFL out globally. I get it. It's great. It's great for the brand. It's great for the United States truly to put that out too. But when is player safety more important than getting it out to the world?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, because I mean, it don't take much for someone to come into a hotel room and or not hotel room, just a hotel,
Yeah,
and
take
just not give a
hostages.
shit. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, you like you said, player safety. You're putting potentially bad shit can happen. I mean, if you got to travel in armored vehicles, I mean, it's never usually a good sign. So,
Yeah, I
I
thought it was
mean,
wild.
especially if you can't even wear your team color, you know.
You put
Yeah.
both teams that are green
Yep.
inside Brazil where you can't wear green.
Yep.
Well thought out.
Yep.
I'm sure they'll have the right people, but you never know, like Jake says, with these crazy people in the world. But I'm excited. I think it should be, as long as it's safe for them, I think it's going to be good for everybody at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
That's a
with
big
you.
if.
Yeah. I'm with you. I mean, I just when I read all that, I guess the old part of me said, "Hey, wow, holy shit!" It's
Yeah.
dangerous to be putting guys over there, in that kind of situation.
I mean,
So,
not that just alone. I mean, you're going to have fans from the U.S. traveling too. I mean, then obviously they're going to be around that area. Now you're not
would you
only
go?
you putting,
Would you go to
hell,
Brazil?
fuck no. I don't know. But I mean, you do have diehard fans that will go though. I
But you
mean,
Yeah.
think about it,
but
the UFC does it all the time. Like all these other people, companies have done things in Brazil. They've done, soccer and everything else, and everything's been
Yeah,
okay.
I
So
I
I mean, what
agree.
what is football going to change
I,
with that?
I agree with the UFC does it all the time, but the difference there is that when the UFC does it, the fighters that they are putting in there usually I would say 80% of them are Brazilian fighters.
yeah,
So
Right,
they're
right. They have
ones that are
hometown fighters.
very comfortable with the country and they know what's right, what's wrong. And
Right.
I mean, shit, I guarantee you that the ones that are not, UFC's got extra security for those guys. I'm willing to bet on that.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So, but all right.
That's interesting, though. I did see that, but I was like, no way. That's. I mean, but if it's true, it's true. I guess.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's very
I can't
crazy.
wait to hear some stories from it when it comes to fruition. Oh
They'll be out there. You know that.
yeah,
Oh
oh
yeah.
yeah, hundred
So,
percent.
all right, Jake, you started talk about the free agent signing.
I mean, of course you got Justin Jefferson. I mean, you got to talk about him and his big contract. I mean, the
I'm
man
shocked.
deserves it. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I mean, for 140 mil, 10 mil guaranteed. I mean,
yeah,
the man
I'm
got
shocked.
paid.
Hey,
110
Minnesota never
mil.
does it.
That's
Huh?
crazy. I said
Yeah,
110 mil just right off the bat.
guaranteed
That's just
for
Yeah,
4 years, right?
yeah.
4
4
years.
years. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it makes sense though because they're like, we're not going to have to pay a quarterback in those 4 years, so
right,
we might as well put
Yeah.
it into the receiver.
Yeah.
right. By that time, JJ will have some years on him, and if they have to move on, they can move on to somebody that's not as high priced, and
Yeah.
with quarterbacks that are talented if they have them. So no, I'd agree. McCaffrey got a deal too. Christian McCaffrey
Yeah.
signed a
Seen
Yeah, I
that.
2 year.
Yep.
saw that.
Yep.
Yep. 19 million a year. I know we talked about it last week. We said that he'd probably be the only or a running back that would get his money that he's actually worth, and I think we were head on with that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I
Not
mean,
19 mil a year. You're not going to see a running back sign for that. I don't think.
No.
just imagine being Brandon Okoyek, or however you say his last name. The running back gets a contract, and you're just like, oh, okay, cool. You guys don't care about me, I guess.
Yeah, but when you're Christian McCaffrey and the stuff he did in Carolina and now San Francisco, I mean, if he's healthy, he's to me one of the most dangerous guys on the field when it
Oh
comes to
yeah.
handling the ball.
Oh yeah. I mean, because you got to watch out for everywhere. I mean, when you say utility, knife, that means definitely utility knife. He can do anything.
Right,
So
absolutely. So, well, um, any more NFL talk? You got anything, Eric? Usually got some stuff on the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, we already talked about the free agents. I mean, not free agents, but the receivers that want contracts. You got C.D. Lamb, you got Jamar
Right.
Chase, Murray Cooper, and T. Higgins. I mean, these guys are biting at the wheel here. They're ready for their payment, but I don't know if they'll get it done. Especially the Cowboys, they're kind of thin with the money, honestly.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
so now you see
Yeah.
what JJ just got paid. So damn well
yeah,
CD Lamb's going to want somewhere near that.
yeah.
No,
Now,
it's
Cooper's getting up there in age now, right? What he?
yeah. He's 30. He has or
Yeah,
almost 30 at least, 29 to
he
30, I
he
think.
did have a good season though last year with the Browns. So, I mean,
Is he's still with the Browns, right?
yeah,
I think
yep,
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how Deshaun does. I mean, you got that big contract on board, I guess, but it should be interesting as far as that. And then like, I don't know, man. I don't know if people are aware. Like, the money's only gonna go up, but where's it gonna? Like, I mean, I get the cap's gonna go up, but how can you fit all these top end athletes into that small of a contract or that kind of thing? I don't know.
No, I agree. I think about that all the time, to be quite honest with you. It's like, okay, because eventually, I mean, if Caleb Williams is who Caleb Williams is supposed to be for the Bears are going to get in that situation where they're going to be paying their quarterback, I mean, top dollar, which we never have seen in Chicago before.
Yeah.
But that's what we're aiming for. It's going to be interesting if we end up in that situation because, just like Eric said, I mean, you have salary cap, but I mean, eventually you're going to hit that ceiling, and you got to figure out where you're going to come up with your talent after the fact.
Oh, these people are just—it's crazy.
It's big money, man. Big money.
Oh yeah.
You hear all these prior NFL quarterbacks talking about it, and I don't know, man. It's just they're like, oh, my biggest contract was 1.1 million, or all these things, and they're talking about
Yeah,
like,
but they're old.
exactly.
They're old.
Like, I listened to the Pivot podcast, and those guys are great, and they're talking. They're talking about, oh, my biggest one, 1.1, and I cried. These kids are getting 40 million first, or 60,000 or 60 million and stuff like that. It's just
Yeah, I get it.
another thing that I want to talk about is a couple of these quarterbacks. Like, you guys saw, I saw that Pickens is out playing Hurts. I don't know how true that is right now in OTAs. Would you guys see anything in that?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know either, but
I mean, it might be one of those. I know at time you become complacent, and I hope Hurts isn't one of those people. But
I think Hurts had an off season last year.
Yeah, he had off season.
He didn't look good.
No, hey, anything could happen. I mean, Pickens might be outplaying him, but at the same time, too, I mean, we've all seen what Pickens can do in a game. I mean, and what Hurts can do in a game.
Yeah.
So I think when it comes hand in hand, I mean, I don't foresee anything coming about it if he is outplaying him.
Well, I'm telling you right now that if I'm the head coach, there's no way in hell I'm putting Pickens in front of Hurts. And that's even with the offseason last year.
No. Yeah.
And they were also talking about quarterback from Colts, Anthony Richards. They're saying he's 255 right now. He's
holy shit.
Yeah.
Big.
He's like 6'6", 6'5".
Yeah.
He's kind of like Cam Newton size, but
I
wonder
how that's going to.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he has knee. I mean,
well, I'm just saying because
he's going to turn out like Russell.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't know, man. Like 255, that's a lot of strain on the athlete's knees.
Did you guys see the video of Richardson? They put him to sleep to do his new back piece.
That's the thing that all the athletes are doing. A lot of NBA players are doing the anesthesia. They do full back pieces.
Hey, if you're gonna get a tattoo, you gotta sit through that tattoo.
That's right. Yeah. Hey, I slept through this stuff. Come on. No, I didn't.
There ain't no way. I don't care how big the piece is. You're not putting me to sleep.
No way. I mean, I get it. You get a little bit of some good stuff, and then you wake up and your tattoo's done. I mean, and the tattooers don't have to worry about
still on fire. I guarantee you.
No, 100%, 100%.
Yeah. But to me, the worst part of a tattoo is the recovering portion of it, or after all that shit. I mean, getting a tattoo, it's
100%.
It is what it is.
The recovery, the sitting. Some of these dudes' chairs suck. Like these tattoo chairs, they bend so weird, and it just hurts like
or they're hard
tailbone. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, let's take a break, and you're like it's not bad getting that tattoo. Is just starting over and getting.
I will tell you this. Literally, for my arms, I was better off laying down on my back or sitting up, because if I went to my belly, I'd be. In all honesty, the guy who does my work, he'd be like, "Hey, you can't fall asleep. Wake up, wake up!" Because if I'm on my belly, I'm going to sleep.
No, 100%.
But So maybe the hard chairs and uncomfortable chairs is not a bad thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Ashli's Trusted Touch. Ashli is a licensed esthetician for all yours or your loved one's self-care needs. Book your appointment at ashlystrustedtouch.glossgenius.com. That's ashlystrustedtouch.glossgenius.com. Or follow Ashli on Instagram or TikTok at ashlys.trustedtouch.
No. One thing I did want to touch on too is I did see that. Did you guys hear about BJ Thompson for? I think his name is yeah.
The Chiefs.
Oh,
Yeah,
with
for the
this
Chiefs.
kid?
No, him. He had cardiac arrest.
Oh,
in
it's
a team
him?
meeting.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, some of these guys have weird like health things. Like some people can have weird like new onset AFib and stuff. Because I mean, they push their bodies to a certain limit, and they don't really like it happened to TJ Watt where he went into AFib and he had to get cardioverted and all that, and it's just
and he retired a little after that.
exactly, and it's just these guys' hearts can only take so much, or they have know things that they don't know that are just
right. It sucks. I mean, the good thing is he's doing good. So
I saw that. Yeah. I thought it was his kid. I misread that. But that's good for him. I'm happy to hear that he's okay.
Yes, definitely. So, Eric, I've been waiting for you to give me some shit about a couple games that happened this week.
I didn't want to say anything.
Why you start talking about it?
I didn't want to say anything, because I really thought we were going to lose all three of those games. I really thought we were going to lose all three of those games because you guys got a 5-0 lead and all this stuff, and it's just you guys
we're horrible.
Your bullpen is worse than ours, and it's I think they're on a 12-game losing streak right now.
Yeah, well, 13.
13, yeah.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this: Are the Cubs going to be buyers or sellers in July?
I would have said buyers a few weeks ago, but right now it's just we just can't. Once we get to the bullpen, it's over.
I would say the Sox would be sellers, but they got none to sell.
Exactly. So. I mean, if we could add a few rotation guys, I think we could definitely do something. But it all depends where we're at. As far as in the standings, I mean, we were first and now we're third. I mean, I don't know. And Cincy's trying to pick up the Reds, so I mean, it's tough. It's tough to say. I hope we can do something, and the bats can start to get hot, and the bullpen can find a groove because our starters are pretty good with the first 3 or 4, but. Once we get into that bullpen, man, I'm just like, let's see which one gives up a few home runs here.
You didn't have to worry about that against the Sox. So.
I'm just, it's tough, man. It's frustrating. I'm happy I don't watch the games because I would be throwing things because it's frustrating.
So why don't we go from the booze to some cheering about my 302 picks. My lock and my upset. I hit on both. Nico Price came through with that upset, and then obviously Makachev, which no knock to Poirier because I'll tell you guys are right as far as the aspect of him coming and he was game. I mean that guy, broken rib, broken nose. I believe it was MCL.
Partially torn. Once he was trying to stand up, he hurt it.
I mean, that guy. What a war! What a great fight!
It was an amazing fight.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, definitely. But I did hit on both my picks. So
I hit on at least my lock. I said he was gonna make him tap. I didn't think it was gonna be that fast. But yeah, man, Kevin Holland with that armbar was clean. That guy was refusing to tap, which was crazy to me. That thing was displaced. They said it wasn't. He said it wasn't broken, but I mean, that thing was.
He was arguing about it.
There's no way.
Yeah. That guy. I'll tell you right now, that's the guy you don't want to meet in a bar. Because you can snap his neck and he's still going to be like, I'm still wanting to fight you. So, I don't know.
Yeah, Kevin Holland's hilarious, though. He's like, he got me with the punch, but, I made it work either way. And I'm just like, this dude.
Yeah, Holland actually looked, I thought Holland, once he locked that in, it was like, all right. It was just a matter of waiting for the tap that didn't come, but overall, I thought all the fights were good.
Besides the Strickland fight, I kind of dozed off. Honestly, he did that weird kicking.
If you listen to Strickland talk, from the post conference, he was, telling him, he's like, or he even said it, I think in the interview in the ring too. All he was doing was backing up. He said it wasn't a good fight. No, it just threw him off. With someone else back.
I thought Costa would come in a little bit stronger, at least a few couple rounds, but it was more just trying to pick him apart. And Strickland, he has an endless tank, man. I forgot about that he's just.
And Costa said, hey, this never again will I ever go backwards. Costa knew his error too in that fight.
Yeah.
Was pretty open about it. But this is the deal about Strickland. Joe Rogan actually mentions it a lot on his podcast when he talks about Strickland. When they put these meters on him or whatever it was, and he does the most sparring out of any UFC fighters, and got hit less than any of them when they were monitoring them on how often they got hit. He was hit less because he rolls with everything. And it wasn't an exciting fight, but Strickland does what it takes to win.
And that's what.
Do I think it could be more exciting? Yeah. That last 10 seconds of that fight, he showed that he could whoop Costa all around that octagon. I think really, by the third round, Costa was tired enough that if he started doing that to him, he probably would have him out of there.
Well, that's the thing wrong with Costa. He's like a muscle hamster. You know what I mean? He wears out too fast, and that's always been his downfall. But another thing is just like, I get it. It's a technical fight, and fighters that can roll with punches are like the hardest people, I think, to fight personally, just because you feel like you're landing it, but he just, that neck strength is something crazy that people don't know about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
like Israel Adesanya used to do, and Silva used to do it. Lyoto Machida, all those greats from the past, even they rolled with those punches, and it was hard to hit them, and they hit you when you were when you weren't ready, So, but no, I agree.
So my question with that though is, I know he's saying he doesn't want to wait for that if he doesn't get his title shot, but do you think he would? If he doesn't, if UFC's like, hey, we got to fight for you, but it's not a title shot, do you think he's still taking it?
Who's Strickland?
Yeah.
I think Strickland is about, if they're going to pay him, I think he's going to do whatever they ask him. I don't think he bitches too much.
A good fight for him, with him and Adesanya, I think would be a good fight to watch.
That would be.
Yeah, but Adesanya just had no answer for him.
I know, and I think, but Adesanya, I don't know sometimes about him, but most of the time I think he improves the second time. Once he knows he studies you, he
when he fought Pereira, he showed that he was ready for that one.
Exactly. So it's just he is very mental kind of fighter. If he's not fully mentally into it, you can tell, and he gets in his own head.
Yeah, and I think Strickland lives in his head.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. Nobody want to go in that dude's head. I don't think personally.
No. But I think Strickland lives in his head. I really do. I think that's one. It seems like every fighter has that one that matchup is just a struggle for him. I think Strickland is that struggle for Adesanya. He just had no answer for him when he fought him. Just my opinion. But
no, I would love to see that. Just to see if Adesanya can bounce back and then see who.
I agree.
We'll see what happens.
But yeah, Jake, I think he takes whatever fight that UFC gives him. I mean, do I think he deserves a second chance at that title shot? Yeah, I think he does, but who knows? Um, so before we get to our picks for Friday night, uh, or sorry, fight night
Saturday.
for
Yeah.
for Saturday. I know Eric brought this up. We're kind of briefly discussing some stuff, the John Jones stuff. Eric, I'll let you start that off.
Boss man, what is his name? Dana White
Dana
was
White.
talking about he is his pound for pound best fighter, right? Because he's never lost, and I agree, right? He took out a lot of veterans in the beginning and stuff, but the few times that he has gone deep, like a guy that's fighting this Dominic Reyes, that was a controversial win for him. There's a few other times that people have taken to that edge where they're like, did he win? But most of the time, since he is that company face, I feel like they kind of roll towards him. I think Mighty Mouse is the best pound for pound fighter. I know Dana didn't like him because he wasn't really exciting to fight, but he was overall, personally, I think the best overall MMA fighter. But I don't know what you guys think as far as that.
At one point in time, I probably would have agreed with Mighty Mouse, but I mean, Triple C whooped his ass. I mean, straight up whooped his ass, and you can't when somebody comes out and figures out how to beat you.
Yeah.
Kind of takes you out of that pound for pound compared to two names to me that really haven't been beat, and that's John Jones and Khabib. The only thing that puts Jones over the top for me with then Khabib is Jones fought, like you said from the get. Jones fought anybody they put in front of him. He always has. DC, which was considered probably one of the best fighters of all time, he made DC look like he couldn't fight.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah,
legitimately. Look what he did to Cyril Gane when he fought him. Cyril Gane, they had him pretty much booked and stamped as the next heavyweight champ. I mean, and he walked through him like he was taking a walk in the park, stopping somebody from stealing some old lady's purse again. You know what I mean?
Another thing that I guess, how much do you guys take into consideration the PEDs, like all the stuff that he did as far as performance enhancing? I mean,
when you're talking micro, what?
I mean,
they measure it? Micro.
One was a micro, but the first one wasn't a microgram, like they said for the second time.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I just maybe I don't like the guy. Maybe that's maybe why. I don't know.
I mean, you can't argue like what my dad said. I mean,
No, I agree with you 100%.
You put everyone in front of him, and I mean, whether or not it's controversial or not. I mean, there's always fights, that are controversial. You're always going to have that. But at the same time, too, I mean, you put somebody like you said, DC. You made DC his bitch,
That was frustrating.
Yeah.
That was really frustrating to see.
Yeah, both times. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to argue that. I mean, I personally, I like him a lot just because, I even went to the same college he did, I mean,
he's just such an awkward fighter. Like the things that he does.
I mean, I don't know. Hands down, I like Khabib, but to me, John Jones is my pound.
I think Khabib would be number 3. You could say number 3 for Khabib.
Yeah, there's one thing that sticks in my mind with Khabib, like truly, and I'm trying to remember who he was supposed to fight originally, and he ended up not fighting him. He fought Al Iaquinta. All right, now the first couple rounds he owned Al. I mean, he was whooping him, but the last round and a half, the 2 rounds of that fight, Al Iaquinta actually was doing a pretty good job against him. Actually, I think he won the 5th round. Yeah. But you ever get a chance, take a look at that fight if you can find it on like ESPN Plus or whatever it may be, or Fight Pass. But I mean, that's where I agree with you. 3rd, because of that kind of stuff. Where Mighty Mouse, with the exception of Triple C, I mean
But Triple C was obsessed. Like he was,
Triple C's the man. Oh yeah.
I really like Triple C too, but like I liked him from the Olympics, and then when he got into the UFC, I thought that was awesome. I really enjoyed that, and then when he became the cringe king, it was a little bit too much.
Hell yeah.
After
That was even better. That was even better.
But
I like that shit.
I mean, he's an Olympic wrestler. Once you're an Olympian, I mean, it's hard to top those kinds of athletes. I think in martial arts, personally, especially a wrestler, of any type of thing.
Right.
But
no, I agree with you.
yeah, because I would have loved to put some of those guys on there, but I think if Khabib would have fought like another weight class and fought a little bit higher name people, maybe I would have put him first. But he's not.
I mean, the only reason why I said it too. I mean, I would personally put him second. Is just because you had Conor McGregor at the top of his hype, you know.
Yeah.
And he did what he had to do. I mean, he made it look easy.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, Conor didn't really have a ground game, but I mean, still, you had somebody, like that big too. I mean,
I remember when he got him on the ground and he's like, "Let's talk now," and he's just punching him in the face. I was like, "Let's go, Khabib!"
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
That. I was actually I didn't get to see that fight live. I was actually I was somewhere, I forgot, and actually I think Jake was watching it with Jordan.
Yeah,
and they called me. I was like, "Did you just see that? Did you see it?" Because of what happened after the fact. I have seen the fight since, and I have seen the outcome. But what a wild! That was fucking wild.
Oh, yeah.
So,
it was good stuff, man. These guys are just they're human, and once you make it personal for some of these guys,
and going into that fight this past weekend, Dustin Poirier, when he called Makhachev a motherfucker, he's like, you don't call me that. That it's not acceptable in our country.
Yeah.
And that's when they don't. Dustin Poirier, I don't think meant to cross the line at all. With hey, I'm gonna disrespect you on the level of your country.
Yeah,
I think he was. That's the American portion of him.
Right.
And you could see it at the end of that fight. When Khabib came in and the first thing they did is start talking right away and Makhachev, same thing. I mean, and Khabib, hey, it's understood. He understands. So that, like you said, when it comes to certain things, and he took that shit personal with Conor.
It's definitely personal. I should have thought about more of a. I guess I didn't put this into consideration. All the guys that come from AKA are dogs, and I forgot about that, and but then again, I mean, it was a good fight regardless. But AKA just knows how to train those dudes, man. They are wild. You got Cain Velasquez, Daniel Cormier. What was that pretty boy? What was his name? I can't remember his name.
I'm not much into judging dudes.
I mean, that's just how I remembered him.
Not that there's anything wrong with that to our tens of 2 or 3 listeners. But,
no, because it was he was like on a GQ and all this stuff, which was weird for an MMA fighter to be.
Was he Canadian?
No,
or no?
He was a white guy. I forget his name. He was like a 185 pounder. I can't remember his name right now.
The one I'm thinking about was on The Ultimate Fighter when they did Canada versus United States at that time. But I can't think of his name. But so we got fight night coming up tomorrow night. Jake, you got your locks and your upset for our portion?
I do. For my lock, I got Dustin Jacoby. I know Erick's gonna disagree with that one, but then I'm gonna butcher the hell out of this other one for my underdog. But Jared, I don't know how the hell you say the last name. I'm not even gonna attempt it.
Well, the main event, Candier?
Yes.
Yeah.
I got him as my upset. So I'm blanking what I was looking at. I should have wrote it down, but I can't remember why I picked him. There's a reason why, but I didn't write it down.
He's a good fighter.
Which one did you pick?
For what?
For your upset?
Right, upset the Jared. Canny. I'm gonna fuck it up again. Even here, I just heard it.
The guy's name is Luke Rockhold.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's who you're thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
He just lost a tooth to Mike Perry in a fight. Red Uncle's fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that's my Lockman, and my underdog I got. So
What you got, Eric?
For my lock, I have Raul Rosas Jr. He is the up and coming guy for a lot of people, I think, and he's a dog. I think he needs to have a little bit more experience, but
Yeah.
I think Ricky's not going to stand up to his ground game. Personally,
Yeah,
I want to
well,
see him kind of fix his stand up and be more aggressive and but I think he's for sure going to take that one. And then for my upset, I have Dominic Reyes. Jake was like, I don't think he's going to win because he's lost the last four, and I agree.
Yes.
Like I said, I'm a Dominic Reyes fan just because how he came up and was dominating everybody until he lost to John Jones, and then
Right.
kind of went downhill. But I think this is a must-win fight for him because if he doesn't win this, he's out. He's going to be done.
I would agree.
And I think his experience in that right hand that he has will make it go his
my
way.
lock I've got is Bruno Ferreira. And my upset is the same as yours, Eric. I think Dominic Reyes comes in, and I think he knows this is a do or die situation for him. I think it's going to add a level, and I think when he's one of those fighters that still has it, he just is hit that little low. Like kind of reminds me a little bit of like Charles Oliveira when he came out and was successful at first, and then went on a little bit of a skid, and then all of a sudden he comes back and he wins the championship and defends his title fairly well for a few times. So I think Dominic Reyes has that in him. I think put his back against the wall this weekend and see what happens. But that's my upset too.
Now I say let's make it a little interesting, Eric.
All right, let's see what you got, buddy.
I say I was throwing out a little bet.
What's this bet? What do we got?
With that, I got the upset, or I got the lock for that.
Yeah.
You gotta. Let's make it interesting on the pod.
Okay, what are we saying? What are we doing? You tell me. We'll make it happen.
All right, you give me a roll of Zin, and if I win, and if you lose, you give me, or opposite,
Yeah, that's fair. I'm down for that.
All right,
we'll throw Zin on it. All right, I'm gonna. This better come through for me, but we'll see.
Now is that overnighted?
You just Venmo each other money.
Yeah,
and then I just go.
Come on, that's no fun.
I mean, it's more expensive to do that shit.
Exactly. Yeah.
Off the topic of UFC, real quick, just a quick little talk about Mike Tyson and his health. He had that ulcer flare up that cost him obviously being able to box at the normal date, and they reset that date to November 15th. What's your guys' views realistically? I mean, it's Mike Tyson. It is Mike Tyson. Everybody gets excited about him. Jake Paul is Jake Paul. I mean, he's a young man. What's your guys' take on? I mean, I already have Tyson having health issues and still going through with this.
I mean, I give the man all props. I mean, I still think either way, I think if he's fighting with his health issues or healthy or whatever, I still think either way he whoops the shit out of Jake. But, I mean, I give the man all props. I mean, for the age he's at, I mean, having health issues and still wanting to, continue on, I mean, props to you.
Well, like you were saying, once you're 50, you can't cycle the way you want to, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because, you can tell, like, whatever he's taking is going to take a toll on his body. And most people,
right.
What is it called, that handle their stress, he had ulcers, and that's a common thing from stress. I don't know if he's not handling his stress from the fighter, the come up of the fight. But I don't know why he's getting stressed. It's just like it's a money fight.
Right.
But I don't think it's I could see it not falling through, honestly, but we'll see what they do.
Right, right. Yeah, I'm just, I mean, when it comes to something like that, I just look at it and go, okay, is this just going to be a complete transition to another problem, to another problem, to another problem?
Right,
And
exactly.
quite honestly, I just want to see the two Paul brothers beat the shit out of each other. I think it'd be fun. I really
Yeah.
do. If they truly throw down, I mean, I think Jake Paul whoops Logan's ass, but
Yeah.
that's just my take on that one.
Yeah. I mean, I don't disagree.
I won't. I will say they're both great athletes. They are
Yeah,
very good athletes. They are all YouTubers and stuff, but the way they've came into the WWE with Logan and now Jake just becoming a legitimate boxer. Like he has legitimate skill. Like you can't
right,
take
right.
away that from him. So it's interesting to see that going from YouTube to becoming high end athletes, which is kind of cool.
Right, right. Um, while we're on the fight topic, did anybody see that? I know I talked to Jake about it. The Masvidal Diaz.
Oh, I
Uh,
saw a YouTube video, or not a YouTube,
yeah,
on X. I saw them going down, and I was like, "What are you guys in the hood? Like, come on, guys, what are we doing, man? Like, this is
be
something for
careful. He
poor
might
people
come to
to
Iowa
do."
and slap your
I'm,
ass. So.
that's fine. That's fine. I mean, I'm just saying, man. These dudes are, they got money, and they're acting like they're in the back in the hood, like
Still in the streets.
Yeah.
exactly. And I
Yeah,
guess you can't
I,
take that away from those kinds of guys, but like you're idols to the youth. Be better kind
yeah,
of deal
yeah,
personally,
absolutely. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I don't. I mean, yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting when they actually get in the ring. Masvidal has definitely got better hands. I mean, Diaz was tried to slap him a couple times. I mean, I don't think he did a bad job against Jake Paul, but definitely you can tell that his jiu-jitsu is what's gotten him through a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So
Now, I will say though, speaking on that, I mean, does that really surprise you with Diaz?
no, hell
No,
no.
That all
no,
that shit
Hell
happened?
no.
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 I mean, that
He
meant like so
walked
he likes to
away.
push. He likes to push buttons.
He
So
he walked away though. That was his crew.
yeah, yeah,
That was the two crews going at it, and Masvidal shit. He's like, all right, I'll get in. And
yeah.
I mean, granted, he was pulling dude's hair, but I guess there's no rules in street fighting.
No,
So,
no.
but yeah, that part I caught with him, he had some dude by the hair pulling him. So I don't know.
Yeah,
But,
but that, it don't surprise me. But at the same time, too, I'm kind of with you on that.
yeah.
With I think Mazda has better hands, but when it comes to other portions, I mean Diaz has it. But I don't know. It'll be interesting.
So Eric, when we go to training camp for the
Yeah,
Bears,
yeah.
I have
If
a
you show
question
up.
for you.
I mean, I'll make it happen. All right, you need to
Yeah.
relax.
I mean, are you bringing your swimming suit so you guys go swimming at like 2 or 3 in the morning?
I mean, we can if you want us to. I guess. We didn't even have swimsuits. I don't think.
Yeah,
No.
we did. No. Actually, no, we didn't. No.
No, we didn't have
no.
swimsuits. This
No.
kind of just happened.
Yeah.
Going into that story, so Jake and I
Hey,
were.
by the way, you guys should clear this up real quick that you guys were not alone.
No.
You guys
We
No.
were with
together.
other
We
people.
had-
Sycamore Pools, kind of weird.
Yeah. So we were with our women and other people's. Yeah.
Yeah, so we were 16, right, Jake? It was 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, 16. We were
Yeah.
16. So just
According
the
to you,
background.
hold on. According to you, you were 17 that day.
Shut up. All right, listen. Listen. All right. So it's just a little background about Jake and I. We've been friends for what, 24 years now, since we were 8. I'm going to be 30 here soon,
Long time.
so- long time. Anyways, we decided we would sneak out of my house because he would sleep over, right? And because they wanted to go to the Sycamore Pool, and there was an area where you could jump over. So we decided to do that because they texted us, and so we did that. And then we went swimming, we did all that in our boxers and all that. And then we're leaving, and the girl that was driving, she didn't turn on her headlights, right? She didn't turn on her headlights. The
Sure
first thing
was it cold? I mean, they could.
She didn't turn on the headlights, right?
Yeah.
And I was pissed. I was like, "What are we doing?" Anyways, funny thing before that, right? So I was supposed to meet them at their house, right? I assumed first that we're meeting at their uncle's house. So I go over to their uncle's house and I just walk, like I knock and I walk in. And I'm like, "Where's everybody at?" And this naked dude just walks out and he was like, "What the fuck you doing in my house?" And I'm like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "Isn't so and so here?" And he's like, "No, what are you talking about?" And I was like, "Oh shit!" So I ran out of there because I was like, "My bad, man. I thought we were meeting here," and that was the first thing that went wrong that night. And then I called Jake and I was like, "What the fuck?" He's like, "No, we're meeting at this other house." And I was like, "Oh, okay." But that's just a pre thing that I just remembered about that day. But anyways, so we were leaving the pool. She didn't turn on our headlights. We see the lights, and me and Jake are just freaking out because it's like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, and the cop pulls up and he gets our information. Jake says, "I said."
You did say you were
1993. I said 1994, but it don't matter, right? Jake's like, the cop asked Jake. The cop asked Jake. He's like, did you guys go swimming? He's like, "No," as water's dripping down from his head. And they're just like, "Fuck."
And we just got out of the shower.
I'm like, "Jake, how are you gonna give me shit about that when you're literally soaking from getting out of the pool?"
Yeah. Say, luckily we knew the cop. The cop knew me, so
we didn't get in trouble. No. We got very lucky for trespassing.
Now, if I remember the first cop that showed up.
Oh yeah,
the officer.
No. Yeah,
yes.
He was actually really cool, though.
Yeah,
he was actually really cool. But
yeah. The second was Jordan's uncle, and
yeah.
And
God damn it.
He's like, "All right, get in the car, we're going home."
Yeah, Jake went to his mom's house.
No, dude, this
was my mom's weekend.
Yeah, that was a rough night that night, but we did a lot of dumb shit. That's one of the stories.
Call. Yeah, I remember his phone call.
Yeah.
Luckily, we weren't drunk or anything, so we didn't get in trouble for any stuff like that. We were just bored in a small town of Illinois.
Bored and women to hang out with.
Exactly.
So, but anyway, that was a good little story. You guys got anything else sports related or anything like that?
We were talking about Logan Paul. Did you guys hear he's suing Messi, or the soccer player, because he came out with so you know how Jake has Prime, right?
Do you mean Logan does?
Or Logan, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And Messi came out with Mas Plus. It's like the same coloring, same everything. So he's suing him because he's copying his like sports drink, basically.
Really?
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, that's something I saw recently. I was like,
I mean, I don't think
all
that's
these
something
people
that
coming
you
out
learn,
with these energy drinks just to make easy money, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, if you're in that game, I mean, you got to know, hey, someone's gonna like your idea, someone's gonna use something like it. But I mean, as long as it's not his products, copying the same name, I don't foresee anything really coming out of it.
And I mean, let's be honest. I mean, I heard a funny story today. It's funny you kind of bring that up. Speaking of energy drinks, and I just got done drinking a Kill Cliff, but there's all kinds out there. And earlier today we had Adam out at Aurora University for football camp, and they always have coaches come up and talk to the parents and that, and say, "Hey, listen, this is kind of the recruiting deal, blah blah blah." And they go through some stuff, and one of the parents did ask, and this is a Division III school, so it's not a big school, asked, "Hey, what's the situation with Nell?" He's like, "We've never really had to deal with anything here." He goes, "We don't get big dollar players." He goes, "But there was one instance." He's like, "And I don't remember what the hell the name of the stuff was." He's like, "But it was some energy drink." He goes, and they sent him just a shitload of this stuff. He goes, and every time he would come in to like do an interview, or even in like the coach's room, with the other athletes, he'd like, "Hey, I'm drinking such and such," and that was his nail deal, literally, was that energy drink, and them sending it to him so he could say, "Hey, I'm drinking this," But it was kind of interesting. It just goes with that. There's so many energy drinks and so many. You can make anything look like anything, probably get away with it. I think that's a frivolous lawsuit, but that's Americans.
Yep. So happy.
Yeah, without a doubt. So I'm going to change my name to Erick, and I'm going to spell it Erick.
I mean, that's something that just go to Starbucks and you see how annoying it is to have both a C and a K. They never spell it. I've never had them spell it right. It's fine. It's fine.
You should go in and just start complaining about it.
Right, just write terrible reviews.
They can't get a simple name
become
right.
a professional Yelper. Starbucks.
You might earn the name Karen at that one then.
Yeah, right.
Dude, I'll pay you $5 next time you just drive back in there, go inside, look at their name badge, grab it, and then take a Sharpie and write it a different way.
No, man.
Don't do that. Don't get in trouble.
Talking about that, some of these people, how they spell their names is crazy. And then for my job, I have to call people back, and then and sometimes I always have to ask the secretary, like, "Hey, how do you say this name?" Because I feel dumb when I'm like, I don't even know how to say this. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. No,
like,
that's just because you can't read, though.
Exactly, I can't read. That doesn't help the situation.
I'll be honest. Like some of the players that I'll start researching, like, and there's some difficult names that are coming out.
Oh yeah.
I go right into Google search and I go to videos so I can hear the name and
that's a good
how it's
idea.
pronounced before.
That's a good idea.
Before I say it, right?
Especially talking about that. So I called this older gal back, and she was like, it was Raven, and it wasn't spelled like Raven. It was spelled differently. I can't exactly remember, and I said it the way it was spelled, and and I hear that the gentleman's like, "I think he's calling your name," and she's like, "That's not how you say it." He's like, and then the guy's like, "No," and she's like, "He probably doesn't speak English." I was like, "Jesus Christ!" And I was like, "I speak English, but okay, I'm sorry."
Dude,
that
you should have totally started speaking Spanish. You should have just lit it up.
I was like, "There's no way you're gonna come at me sideways when you don't know how to spell Raven correctly." But okay, that's fine. It's fine. I get it.
Funny shit there.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's good stuff there. But all right, well, you guys got anything else?
No, I mean, are we getting into our little generation thing still or no?
Right, we gotta wipe out another generation, don't we?
Yeah.
Let's talk about this because let me pull this up here because I know I did a little bit of research on some of it. And from what Erick said, I wanted to make sure that it lined up with some of my mindset from the get go on it. So, but we'll have to take another one out. So I'll start with you, Erick. I'll let you go first this time.
So for my research, right? Because I did this because I was like, I'm gonna have actual facts this year, right?
Yeah.
So I want to do Generation X, right? So that's 1965 through 80, right? Okay. So the pros, you got hip hop was good, and they made video games. That's when the stuff kind of came through. But lots of cons between. It's a lot of. So it's just they really don't. They didn't really do anything as far as improve our health or improve anything as far as us to be better. I think personally.
Wait a minute. You got to remember. I'm going to throw this out there.
What's that?
When did a lot of your cures come? Not cures, but ways to manage. Like probably one of the biggest academics we've seen, which would be the AIDS academic. Uh, that was Generation X that went out and did that, and that's probably one of the biggest things that as United States citizens that spread fear beyond fear of people through that generation. And the only reason why I know that is because when I was growing up, I mean, and I'd just be quite honest, my you know, I, I was going and doing whatever I wanted. um,
Yeah.
so which is pretty dangerous at that time, and even as a heterosexual male, it was dangerous to be going out there and doing, or a heterosexual female, at that time. Look at Magic Johnson, as far
Yeah.
as that goes. So I mean, I get what you're saying. I guess I look at generation as more the music, our imagination, our survival. I mean, we were left at home alone. We had to fend for ourselves, legitimately. Like I know my parents both worked during the day at one point in time. I was left. I got home from school. I took care of myself. I mean, literally from the time I was in fourth grade up until obviously whatever. So I look at that, but I understand where you're coming from too. I
No,
do think we could have done more for health and stuff like that.
it's just one of those things that that, not saying everybody's the same personally, right? I'm just looking at it
Yeah,
because I look at it like, what did they do to overall make everybody better, kind of deal? And it
yeah.
was just, they kind of just rode the wave from the previous gen kind of thing, I think personally. But I mean, it's tough to really do this. I'll be honest with you. I didn't
It
think it was gonna be
is
this
tough.
hard,
No, absolutely,
but
absolutely.
that's where
I
I
I had
am.
the silent generation. I'll be honest with you. I had the silent
That's
generation.
okay. I'm not gonna say
Yeah.
that 'cause that's gonna ruin next time. But yeah,
That
it was a
that's
tough
who I
between
have.
them and that yeah.
I think obviously the Great Depression,
Yeah.
and not being able to really come out of it. I mean, truly, I mean, their way of living. I guess this I would give them the strength portion of being able to survive that portion of it, but there's nothing really productive that came out of it except for a lot of violence with gangs on streets,
Exactly.
as far as mobs, and that's what really gave the mobs a kick. And the reason why the mobs were there was because realistically those immigrants weren't given a lot of work to go and do stuff. So that's when I looked at all the generations. That silent generation just spoke to me that that's one that would fall off the list next.
Not to mention they elected Richard Nixon twice. I mean, you got that going for you. They lost two wars. I mean, it's a lot of things that were good at that time. I agree with you. It was a tough pick between them and like I said, Generation X for sure.
So it looks like we'll be three ways then, because I mean, I put the Z. I mean, I know that's the one right before me or right after me, but I mean, I just still feel like it reminds me too much of this generation now, as to where a lot of these people feel like they need to be owed something. Um, as to where
You mean
you're not owed shit in this world.
you mean what years are you talking about? Generation Z, Jake?
Z,
1997 to 2012.
yes,
I would
yeah,
actually, I could agree with you on that sense, just because, and I mean, teach his own, but that is the generation that's technically in colleges right now.
yeah.
Um, I would, I, I swear myself off political stuff or podcasts, but I will say this: purple hair and the right to feel like you're owed everything. I would agree with you on that one. I
Yes,
would.
yes,
You could sway me that way too.
That's
yeah,
the thing though with with the newer generations. It's hard to say where they're at because they're barely, like you said, getting out of college, so they
Yeah.
haven't had a chance to really
Right. Right.
mature into what they're gonna do. So it's hard for
Right.
me, like I said, to do like our
now,
kids, like Jake
Right
and
now,
I's
I think
kids,
that
and then all
I
that.
honestly think that they've done less, really, for the country as far
then
as their input for music. I'm not talking uh, financials, but like for music, for anything really. I think it's a weak generation.
Yes.
I would agree. And Jake said a couple things that actually struck me to think, okay, well, I think that the silent generation probably was a little tougher than the generation we currently
Yes.
have, because I'm thinking, when I think of the generation going into the military, they're having trouble right now recruiting, and different military branches. So I, I would have to. I think we could do Generation Z off there first. And I agree with you, Eric. I mean, and I said it with also Generation Alpha. You know what? With time, could what they could do with technology and understanding. I do think it's an understanding generation, as far as
Yes.
they're probably a little more caring than what previous generations have been. So maybe with that, they'll turn it around. But yeah, as of right now, a little bleak.
It's
So
I
yeah.
don't
And
know.
what
we're,
really like
we're,
strikes me to that is, I mean,
we're,
just
we're going to be down to 2 listeners now.
Yeah,
I
right.
say, no, what strikes me too is with that. I mean, I know that's like close. I mean, to when my year when I was born, but I mean, it goes all the way. What you said, 2012, to
Yeah.
where I mean, just a couple of years ago. I mean, there is incidents that happen. I mean, just everywhere, but like with coaches. I mean, you
Yeah.
like my dad knows. I mean, I had a really good coach. I always had my back, do whatever for me. I mean, did we all gave each other shit? Gave each other hard times. We've messed with each other. It is what it is. And someone coach, what was it? Gave him like a little a 5-star in the back, or whatever. And now he's gone. He can't coach because a kid showed his parents. And which, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying abusing a kid is right for that portion or whatever. But I mean, it's nothing that was taken personal.
It wasn't. It
It's or
wasn't meant
it
to be
should yeah,
demonstrative. So,
yes, it wasn't supposed to be heinous or anything. But
yeah.
at the fact of that, I mean, like we all fucked around. I mean, it's
Oh,
just a
God,
part of
yeah.
growing up, and I don't know. So that's a big portion of why I chose Z2 is because I have you hear shit like that all the time.
No, yeah.
What do you think, Eric?
It's tough, man. I don't know. Like I said, I
By the way, I'm going
overanalyze
to fight
things.
X tooth and nail.
That's fine. You can fight tooth and nail. Yeah, I know you're gonna fight. I knew that was gonna happen too, because I'm like, you're the same age, and I was like, I
That's
know
all
that's
right,
gonna
man.
happen, but
That's
it's
all right.
just, I guess it's
But
just
yeah,
it.
I
It's hard
I
for
can
me to
see
say
some
the
of it.
newer generations, just because we're in the time of we're living through what the old generations did to put us where we're at here right now. Right.
Let me ask you this: if it came down to Generation X giving you advice right now, or Generation Z, which advice are you taking?
X all day.
Right. Because they haven't lived yet. Right.
There you go.
Exactly. I
Yeah,
agree.
I mean,
I agree.
that's
It's
kind
just
of guess
tough.
the way I look at it. That's what, when I thought of this, I'll be honest with you, I was like, if we could just keep this just strictly for what had happened, then yeah, I mean it should be tough and it should be
Yeah.
good. It's interesting takes on it. So, and hopefully, anybody that does listen or watches this, feel free to put some stuff in the comments or reach out to one of us, because it's one of those things that every generation is going to feel like they're the best generation. You know what I mean? And that's the fun part of
I'm trying.
still
I'm trying to
having
do
a
this.
competitive
This
spirit.
exactly. I'm trying to do this like out of kind of trying to be non-biased. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because,
Yeah.
like you said,
It's tough though.
everybody's like, no, we had it the best or the worst, and it's
Yeah.
just tough.
Yeah. I
Different
just
times,
wouldn't. I
different
wouldn't go
things.
put a Generation Z. I mean, it's no secret. I got cameras up. I've had cameras up in my house for a while. I had 2 young teenage kids at the house. Um, I know the shit I did and
Yeah.
survived, and I don't know if. I mean, I love my daughter to death. I love my stepson to death, but I don't know if they would survive some of the dumb shit we did, like house fires and stuff. So
No, yeah, I agree with you
that
because I was in a similar boat with you. Both my parents worked 2 jobs, and
yeah.
I took care of myself basically. which,
Right.
like I said, we did dumb shit, but
Yeah.
no, I agree.
I didn't say dumb shit. We did good shit.
No, we
So-
did a lot of dumb shit.
so
we did a lot of dumb shit.
So Jake and I are voting off Gen Z.
Okay, that's fair.
So we're down
That's fair.
to the millennials, Gen X, baby boomers, silent generation, and the greatest generation. Which the greatest generation, that's gonna be a battle. The good thing is I don't think we're gonna lose any of our listeners from the greatest generation. Just to say, just gonna
That
throw
is
that one
true.
out there.
That is true.
I mean, but but anyway, anything else, guys?
I just
Before
got
we
one
end
question
this?
for Eric too. I mean,
Here we go.
You just gotta add to all this shit. What's up? What?
I'm just curious on why you started your gym on fire.
My gym. I hate you. I hate you.
If anybody out here watches Kill Tony, you know,
Yeah, right.
You get the
You
reference.
understand the gym on fire reference?
yeah.
Oh no.
You're the worst. Why don't you go set that, why don't you go set that off-brand chain on fire? Why don't you go do that? And I'll show you how I set my gym on
Oh
fire.
no. Oh, no. Oh, Jesus.
Like I said, hey, they're never gonna stop. All right.
That's fine. You can do what you want, buddy.
Ain't never gonna stop.
Ain't
Nope.
never gonna stop.
All right, guys. We'll revisit this next week. Yeah, it was a lot of
Sound
fun. And once again, anybody that listens out there, please feel free to email one of us, text one of us, or whatever. Put something in the comments. We are definitely all game for listening to stuff. Eric's gonna do some more TikToks for us, and we'll get them out there.
And I'll sit and look pretty for you guys.
All right, guys. Take care. All right.
See ya.
All right. Peace.